Test, test. Okay. This is for a class project. My podcast number 1. Going over the story I'm writing, the Felix Paradox. Now, I'm not sure what decided to drive me to make this, but I really like what I've written so far. I don't know exactly if it's good or not. And I'm always making changes to make it better, in my opinion. So it's about a boy named Felix, which means lucky. I don't remember in what language, but it means happy, lucky, or fortunate in Latin. So I labeled chapter 1, Lucky Felix. Now, the story starts with a young boy, which is Felix, running out of a convenience store, not because he robbed it, he paid for his stuff, but because it's being robbed, and he was scared. Every time something lucky happens to him, he says to himself, "Felix, oh Felix, how are you so lucky?" He had gone out of school early because of a mysterious gas leak from an unspecified pipe, in which he had also said, "Felix, oh Felix, how are you so lucky?" And he was gonna buy candy to eat at the convenience store, but he didn't really get to. I forget what I said about him buying his stuff. He didn't even get to grab it. He was too scared. Now, this starts out in like a really crowded area, like Tokyo crosswalks, kind of crowded, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, it looks like it can get pretty crowded. He walks home from school every day. It's really long and boring because he has nothing to occupy him. And because nothing's there to entertain him, his mind slowly wanders, in which a large semi-truck rushes past him as he was about to cross the street, in which he thinks to himself, "Felix, oh Felix, how are you so lucky?" again. Now, this is because he almost died, but he didn't, which is very lucky. He made his way to his house, unlocking his door with a hidden key, and was greeted by silence because his parents are almost always at work. He goes to do his homework, like a good little boy he is. I haven't decided how old he's gonna be. Probably a teenager. And he was so focused on his homework that he missed out on dinner that he was supposed to make, so he didn't really miss out on it because he was the one who had to make it. So yeah, he went into the kitchen and looked through the fridge, looking for something to eat. And unfortunately for him, the only thing left to eat was collard greens with garlic bread, which is a really terrible combination. He stared at the food through the microwave window, waiting for it to heat up, and he noticed something weird. It was like a flicker. Not like a light flicker, but like something flickering past a screen, or in a reflection. But as he looked for it to happen again, it only happened once. No more than once, only once. And as he was focused on looking for the flicker, the microwave beeped, pulling him out of his trance-like tunnel vision. As he pulled out the sludge that collard greens is, because collard greens are disgusting, he sat down in the empty dining room to eat. As he sat down to eat, though, a sudden wave of nausea came over him, and he suspected it was either because of the disgusting smell of reheated collard greens, or because he hadn't eaten in almost half a day. The solution to both of those, unfortunately for our protagonist Felix, involved him eating the collard greens. Luckily for him, collard greens could easily be washed down by garlic from the garlic bread. Still sick, though, he went to bed early, like a goody little two-shoes. And he quickly fell asleep, even though it wasn't a peaceful sleep. Now, the reason for this was because of the flicker he saw in the microwave. He had dreams where he died many, many times. Every death he had were events that he narrowly escaped in real life. He had these horrific nightmares. He slowly came closer and closer to the events that happened earlier this very day. At long last, he finally got to today's events. He was shot and brutally beaten to death. And on his way home, he got hit by the semi-truck, which finally woke him from these horrid events. Pulling out the English on you people. He woke up in a cold sweat and realized he couldn't move. He was under sleep paralysis. As he looked around his room, he laid eyes upon the darkest corner of his room, the corner by the door. As he looked, he slowly paled. The more he looked at the corner, the more he could make out the outline of a person. That person was him. Even though he was in bed, he could see himself in the corner of the room. Felix was, understandably, terrified. How could he be in the corner while he was in bed? Felix, from the corner, slowly stepped forward, his face bloody, and his eyes missing. As Felix lay paralyzed in fear, wondering who or what this imposter Felix was. For what felt like hours, The other Felix from behind the door stared at Felix with his eyeless sockets. Then suddenly, the strange Felix spoke.
Do not worry, Felix. You are lucky, yes. But do you really think you survived all those near-death experiences?
Felix swallowed, trying to moisten his dry throat, and replied, "Of course. Why wouldn't I be? I wouldn't be here otherwise, would I?" The demonic-looking Felix looked at him, sadly almost, and said,
Then you have much to learn.
"Oh, there's a typo." He then slowly extended his hand. Didn't mean to do that. And he wrapped his slimy, blood-covered fingers around Felix's throat. Still paralyzed, Felix couldn't resist at all while being choked to death. But as his vision was fading, Felix regained control of his body. He tried to fight the other Felix off, but his consciousness faded just as he got the imposter off. I'm dying this time, aren't I?" Felix thought, and that was the last that he did before fading completely. So that's all I have for the first chapter of my book. But in the next episode, I'll tell you more about what my thought process was, because I don't think I'll have the second chapter done by the next week. This was podcast number 1. Thank you for listening.